Hello everyone, my name is Thuli Zigalala and welcome to episode 9 of Good Vibes with Thuli. Can you believe it? This is the penultimate episode of season 1, Good Vibes with Thuli. It's been an amazing journey. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my journey, my experiences, and my memories with you guys. I hope that you guys were inspired. Today, I'm sitting outside. It is a beautiful day, and I'm sitting on the floor. For me, sitting on the floor is quite comfortable. I've got no issues with it. With this episode, I'd love to share my memories and my experiences and my love affair with this culture that we've got called hip-hop. As you can see, my t-shirt for the love of hip-hop. A top of memory, my first memory of hip-hop and when I really understood and made a decision that, you know what, truly I think you are falling in love and you are in love with hip-hop was a radio show called Harambe on YFM, Bad Boy Tili and Sansa, Let's Pull Together. I think for me, that show was where I cut my teeth in terms of understanding the lifestyle, the elements, the culture of hip-hop, the music, the artists, you know. And what I loved a lot is that they didn't really just support global music and hip-hop as a whole, but they really pushed SA local artists, and some of the people that I'm going to mention are because of that show and the exposure that they got on that show. I used to rush back from school every single day. I think during that time the time slot was between 5 and 9, and I'd listen to it every single day from the beginning all the way to the end, the interviews, the mixes. I made sure that I listened and I didn't miss a beat. They used to feature an artist, that this thing where every single day, every week they'd feature someone, but they'd play the same song every day. So on Monday it was a debut song of a person, usually someone we don't know, up and coming artist, and you're like, but who's this guy, you know? So Monday you listen, Wednesday okay, and then Thursday, Friday you're even listening to the song, and by Friday you're hooked and you're a fan of the music. So I think that platform was so important in exposing, you know, up and coming artists who just really needed to be given a chance. And I think it was quite pivotal for a show like that, for, you know, people who understood the culture and people who really loved the music to come together and to unite. So shout out to Bad Boy Tili and Sansa. Secondly, when I started university around 2008, 2009, we actually started with a group of friends of mine, a hip-hop club, a hip-hop society called Esoteric Kids. And believe it or not, I was not a rapper on the club, but it was with guys such as Sniper and, you know, Psyche Optic. And, you know, when I laugh with my friend Zoe, and we're still friends today, we just love the memories and how we actually made things happen, you know. So on campus there's so much stress and you know, pressure to deliver and to, you know, submit your assignments, but I felt like having a hip-hop society and a culture was a way to escape the reality of being on campus every day. We would have people coming through and people would pay, you know, so every month would have ciphers, every month would have and host battles, and people would invite people, and, you know, it was really, really nice how we could unite and create a community on campus for people who shared the same lifestyle and the same culture for the love of hip-hop. So Esoteric Case was quite a clear memory for me in that time. With the elements of hip-hop, so there are 5 elements that we got in hip-hop, but for me personally, I think that, you know, because right now I can't say that I'm a sneakerhead and I've got a sneaker connection and I wear baggy jeans and I've got a backpack, you know. I think for me it's a different angle that I take. So I appreciate the music, you know. So when I listen to a hip-hop song and when I listen to the music, I can dissect and I can unpack what the person is talking about. So take me on a journey. When I listen to the music, I want to understand your story, you know. I look out for the stylistic devices, for the poetic devices, like the metaphors, the punchlines, the rhyming. I want to understand the imagery, you know. So use your story, use your words to take me and to make me understand who you are, what you stand for. And I don't think that you have to be a rapper necessarily to love hip-hop. So I'm not a rapper, but I love hip-hop. I don't remember having a stage name. I don't remember being, you know, Miss T. I was just Thuli, for example. But I really have a clear understanding and appreciation for the music and the culture of what hip-hop is. And some of the songs that I'd like to share with you guys, some of the artists that I'd like to share with you guys that really cemented and had a big influence of me understanding and loving the culture. So just a note is that I'm very old school. very, very old school. And me sharing this journey is more like a nostalgic, experience of, how it started and how I got here. So it started between 2003 all the way 2003, 2004 was a very, very, defining moment for me in terms of hip hop, local hip hop to be particular, up until now. So obviously the game has changed, it's evolved. We've seen more and more people coming and going, and my outlook on the culture has changed a lot. But some of the people that I'd like to just pay homage to and mention and say shout out in no particular order. So number one, the person that I listen to a lot, even today I still listen to them, is Mawetu. So Mawetu, for me, that album, A Fool's Hope, is a beautiful album where he just takes you away on what he's feeling at the time. He's got an amazing way. I feel like for me, he's like a very soulful MC, and he can, expose you and take you on a journey and paint a picture of his emotions and feelings while using the punchlines, while using the music and the lyrics and the beats. So Mawetu stands out for me. And on that track, actually, on that album, track 11, Love Lost, he actually features Lee. That song is called but I forgot what the song is called, but never knew love was lost. Ooh, never knew you were my loving. So that was a fantastic song, a song that I still love and I still listen to today. So Mawetu is number one. And then another artist that is really, really hardcore, Kaido, a trinity to rebels igniting youth in the youth. That duo was amazing in terms of the songs that they had. So Kaido, a classic mad. So let's all get mad. All the people get mad. All the hoods get mad. All my neighbors get mad. And then another one was Shine on My Shine. That song was really divided the industry at that time because there were a bit of clashes and the issues within the artists, so Shine is really another one. I love how Kaido is also quite very clear and he can articulate his story, and he's not apologetic about what he believes and where he stands in terms of the industry and his outlook on life. So Kaido is another big one. Optical Illusion is kind of cool. So that song Ultimate, zing 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 zing. This is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. Zing zing. We also have Proverb. Proverb is another one who really shaped my love of hip-hop. So yes, he had the book of Proverb, but for me, the song that really stood out, that made me love and notice him, was that song, Letter to My Ex. This is a letter, but it's too hard to post it. You made my heart believe that you hardly noticed. And it's gone on to collaborate and to feature a lot of other artists. I think right now he's not really rapping, he's not into music anymore, he's doing other things, but that time for me was a time that really, really made me fall in love with hip-hop. And then Zabs, Zabs, The Last Letter. I've really watched Zabs evolve in terms of who he is in the music industry. Listener's Digest is a classic, and also Cochlear. But for me, the song that really, really made me fall in love was Family of One. We don't look the same, and we probably don't share a last name, but we were on team in this life game, and you're my brother, and altogether we're a family of one. So shout out to Zabs. And then we also have Emphatic Tabs. I love Tabs. There's a song that he has that's called Who's That, right there, blue cap and white hair. And then the jazzy, music background. Boom, 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 boom. And then you've got Uamu. You can't forget Uamu. So Uamu again is sort of like the godfather of the game. So the album, the life, the rap, the drama. My favorite song personally, there's a lot of songs that he had, but I really enjoyed Kids These Days Don't Want to Learn What? Play with fire, you will burn. What? And I feel like sometimes Amo was quite fortunate because there were times where it'd be between both a little bit of Kwaito. He'd dabble in Kwaito and dabble in hip hop, and you could see with the collaborations that he had, like with Zola and, KB and, those circles that he was part of. So he was mad. He opened up the industry, and he was also quite vocal in terms of his artistry and what he stood for in terms of his music. So shout out to Amo. And then Pro Kid, the late Pro Kid May, so rest in peace. There's one song, he's got a lot of albums that was just so amazing, but one song that really stood out for me was I need your loving, and if you want it, I got it. If you want it, I like the sunshine, and I can make you blossom, baby. You're my flower, don't you know? And that song, that beat is actually quite a sample of, another artist. It's a jazzy song, but I need your loving. That for me, that song made me notice him. There were other songs that became more popular, more commercial, but that for me was when, okay, Pro Kid, this is who you are. So I really, really loved it. And then there was also Stoji T, and there was a song called Once Upon a Time in Africa with Swiss Sudan, So a lot of those elements came through. We had H2O, It's Wonderful. So with it's Wonderful, I think the album was called Amanzi Mdoti, but the music video of It's Wonderful, where they're sitting at Towaza Park, just chilling. And that was, for me, was like, okay, this is the culture. This is what hip hop is about. We come together, we enjoy each other, we enjoy the music. And I felt like, H2O was so relatable, you could just come up to them. There were no issues, no beef. They were just people, man, who just loved this hip hop thing, So shout out to H2O. Some of the songs that I still have, on that album, Amanzi Mdoti are classics. And then also another one is Heavy 8, so a lot of the people that are featured on Heavy 8 by Zabs are the people that I'm really, that I feel stood out for me in terms of, shaping and monitoring and helping me understand and expose myself to the love of hip-hop. So there's so many other people, lots and lots of artists, but for me, top of mind, those people to this day, very old school, very nostalgic. Those are the ones that help me understand. When I listen to a song, it's like, okay, because I cut my teeth with those artists, let me hear what you have to say, I don't know where they are right now, it'd be so nice to find out where they are, what's happening in their life, and what they think of this game that we're in right now, the evolving culture, the evolving music, and the up-and-coming artists that we've got right now in our culture. So I'm going to feature an amazing podcast called The Sobering, and with this particular episode, and I'm so glad that I stumbled upon it because it's suiting, it's very, very fitting in terms of understanding my positioning, and every person that is featured, the amazing people that are featured, you've got Lee, you've got Loot, and you've got Ayanda MVP, and everyone brings their own elements into the conversation, and you see through the generations that, okay, this game has changed, the positioning has changed, the artist has changed, and anyone can actually go and be part of this, not necessarily being a rapper, but you can also be a DJ and make it. You can actually love the fashion, the culture, the sneaker side of it, and still earn your stripes and still be respected. So I hope that you guys can, listen to the snippets. So I really, really struggled with this one because the actual episode is 2 hours long. Can you imagine? And I had to really, snip it up and listen and think, my gosh, like every element, every theme that they cover is important, but I had to crunch it up and make it into a 10-minute episode. So really, ideally, I want to listen to everything and showcase everything that the episode's got to offer. But in this 10-minute that I did, I managed to snip and select, I hope that you guys can enjoy. So shout out to The Sobering. Thank you so much for allowing me to feature and enjoy the episode. Thanks.
Lee, can you start? Because you started out in a time where it was really your male.
Sure, I would die.
Yeah, I think for me it was so complex, right? Because I'm from Uganda originally. So my first friends
Shout out to Uganda. We out here.
My first friends in SA were made through hip hop, right? That's how I actually found a community and friends and stuff. And I have 2 sisters. Well, now there's 7 of us. Long story, African families.
Yeah.
But now there's the 3 of us. And I just remember with my family, it was always a case of my sisters and I would call my dad and we'll be he'll be going to the UK. We'll be like, Daddy, please get Wu-Tang Clan. He'd say, Wu-Ching Cha. Literally, my sisters and I don't know where it came from, but we just loved listening to hip hop. So from Blase to Wu-Tang to Chronic, my mom was breaking the CDs, we're bringing them up again. The thing was a situation, and so when I got onto before I got onto YFM, which is a crazy story, I had always thought that if I did something, if I got onto radio, that I wanted to have some sort of to be doing something that was bigger than myself. And because for me with hip hop, that was how people from other parts of the continent were making friends with people from SA. It just seemed like the most natural thing. So I just took what it was that I was experiencing, and I got that onto, and I put it on radio pretty much. I just was myself. And I think that because I'm shy, I don't know if you guys can tell, but in general, I'm really 100% shy. But I remember I would always sit there, and there were obviously lots of guys and stuff, and Amu was the meanest of the mean of the mean. Amu was not nice to me. And then one day he actually overheard me make a comment to Thomas and them, because every time people would drop joints and everything, I'd be like, this is so bad, this, and the guys would be like, she doesn't know anything, until they heard me say something to Thomas. So Amu pulled me aside and he said to me, you just need to say what you know. And then that just gave me confidence from then on. And then people would drop stuff. They'll be like, okay, listen to joint number 1, 3, don't listen to 5, 6, 7, 8, listen to 10. It just became one of those things. So for me, I just think that from that interaction with Amu and them just always saying that people would always respect you if you just spoke your actual voice and said your truth, that's what it was. And I had no agendas. I loved hip hop. It made me feel closer to SA. It made me feel closer to the continent. And it just was fun. It was just part of my lifestyle. So,
Loot, you wanna go after that, or you wanna let it simmer?
I think we need a moment.
Just let it simmer. It's quite rich.
I mean, from growing up, I've always been one of the boys, because I was a very active kid. I was always on the bike, rollerblades, doing whatever. So girls weren't trying to do that. Girls were trying to play with dolls and stuff. And I was like, okay, guys, I don't know how many times we can change the same girl and she doesn't talk back. Why don't we run?
That's all.
Or whatever. I was just always one of those girls. So men generally don't overpower me or make me feel some type of way. And in PE, there was a very small culture that was in love with hip hop. PE is a house city, and for the longest time, you'd literally never hear any hip hop in the clubs or any party spaces. So it was a very, very small community, but we were big on it. We were fascinated by it. Obviously, Joburg was a big idea, and the real lights and stars came from there. But the little community that we had was obsessed with it, and I just kind of brought the same energy when I got to Joburg. But I'm chill. Besides, we were all just talking about sneakers and stuff, So it's easy conversation.
Quite lucky.
Yeah, you walk in with the right pair of shoes, you'll be alright.
Yeah, they look at you different. It breaks the ice. It breaks the ice in certain circles, and some people are just like, we okay.
Yeah, I even think probably the strangest thing was I only discovered Lupe Fiasco when I think I was, I don't know, in matric or something. And I remember when I first heard, I think Kick Push was on Metro FM or whatever. And then I got the albums, I fell in love with them. And then a friend of mine, I played so much and we were staying together. So when she knew the lyrics wherever she was, the guys were like, yo, girl, how you listen to Lupe Fiasco? She's like, no, my friend loves Lupe. They were like, is your friend a guy? She's like, no, it's a girl. And I was like, how is it in a world where there's music all over, listening to Lupe Fiasco is a guy thing? What does that even mean? I was like, never mind, whatever. Because at home with my boys, it's just like, yo, you gotta listen to this. It's not, oh, you a girl, so let's maybe play you some I don't even know what, So that was very weird. But I mean, that was a long time ago. People weren't as woke as they are today.
But that's why I went to the National School of the Arts to study drama, so I could be more personified.
My mom was like, forget it.
My mom said no. And I said, why? She's like, get your own money if you want to go to that school. So I entered a competition and I won a bursary to go to NSA.
Wow, that's
how much I wanted to go. Yeah, that's how much I wanted.
Nice.
I think it's a DJ thing, because Speedster also went and registered himself at another school. So it's just like, yo,
he was a baby though.
Rebels from the beginning.
But I told them that I was going to do it. So I think from that point on, I respected myself for taking such initiatives, and that's why I started taking initiatives in my life.
All of that said, I just want to ask, I'm going to use the Zahas as an example. We spoke about not just putting women in places just because they're women. So sometimes they put out a nomination list for women in hip-hop. How do you guys feel about that, where it's like they're filling a quota, we're just going to get 5 rappers?
They are filling a quota. That's why I don't attend the Zahas. I said it flat out.
What she said.
They really need to revamp everything with the South African Hip Hop Awards, because it is not the South African Hip Hop Awards. It's we think we are important, so we will do these hip hop awards. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the game of the artists. It's about, I don't think it's for growth. I don't think it's for.
Do you guys think any award ceremony is?
Well, I mean, the South African Music Awards, they're good awards because they are for the people, and there is a category of...
Look, a lot of it is still controlled from the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it does a lot for the art is still in the same breath, right? Like how seriously it's taken, how it's shot, like the whole production is just. It's a show. Do you understand? It's a show. People will get like a proper full performance, you know, with the support that they need, dancers, lights, whatever. You know, it's an experience. And I think for me, like the Zahas, dog. I'm definitely not a.
And you're there sweating in gold in the auditorium.
It's still early stages.
You know what? Like, I think for me, it's like. Because I understand what you guys are saying. For me, because I know the guys who are behind it, and I know the story, and I know kind of the sacrifices that are put in, you know? I feel that definitely there is room for growth and so forth. But I feel like the people who are behind it, like Oz and them, like they genuinely are, like they have helped curate things in SA hip-hop that nobody has done. You know what I mean? So from that perspective, I think that there definitely is room for growth, but with all award ceremonies and everything, but they've put so much in. And it's like even when conversations are had with regards to women and all of that stuff, like when I spoke to TTP and everything, and I was like, how come there aren't more women and whatever? He's like, well, people just basically did not vote it out. And I think what they tried to do is that they tried to keep it as exactly what people are voting, and they don't think about, because with other awards, like, so when I worked with Channel and everything, like once we had like I can't believe I'm exposing this, but like once we had like the winners and everything, people would be like, there would be like a meeting that would happen like on like an exec level where they're like, we need to make sure that we're going to make people happy, because sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes it's like the way people vote is kind of funny or whatever. So there was always this curating, and I know with the Zahas they don't do that. Do you understand what I mean? But I can guarantee you every award ceremony in the world, like that's a major award ceremony, has this like quiet meeting where people are like, listen, if this person doesn't, we have to make this crowd happy, that crowd happy, that crowd happy. And so with them, with the SA Hip Hop Awards, because they don't do that, it puts them in the position that they are in. Do you get what I mean?
No, so I agree with what you're saying in terms of like the execs, but I think from my side, every time I go to the Zahas, it feels as though I'm in a time capsule and I'm going back in time. Yeah. And half of the stuff I don't know. I love hip hop, but back then hip hop wasn't my thing, because the profanity, the way it spoke about women, the misogyny, everything was just like, no, it's not my type of music. But the hip hop now, I'm not seeing or witnessing with the Zahas. Maybe now, maybe like last year, that was growing. But the past 2 years before I went, it was just like, what's going on here? When am I going to leave? Because it really didn't feel as though it was encompassing everything. Like you
didn't
also
reflect what's
do you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of this award ceremony is the kind where you have the hip hop show from YFM broadcasting live, and there's just action with people everywhere coming because they're celebrating South African hip hop.
For sure, I agree with that. But I think what I'm trying to say is that the way that the South African Hip Hop Awards started, it was a vision that Osmic and TTP had. That was what it was. The fact that other people have not gotten involved is outside of them. That is.
Do they want other people involved?
No, I'm just saying, like, that's okay, so say question. For example, but here's the thing. It's like
I was making TTP come on the show.
So what people need to, for me, when I think of hip hop, right, in general, and I've always felt this way, I feel like hip hop is like everybody's got their own worldview, which is why if you really look at hip hop like globally, it's like it's genres within genres within genres, right? True. And everything. And so it's like when I think of the SA Hip Hop Awards, it's almost like to a degree you can tell who's behind it, because they are, you know what I mean, they're reflecting what their worldview of hip hop is. You can tell who's behind it, but it's also maybe a call to have more people collaborate within it. English almost lost me there. It's almost like to have more people involved in the conversation, have a bigger committee and all of that stuff. Like maybe that's what the conversation is. But as much as like with the SA Hip Hop Awards, Back to the City, all of that stuff, like they are stuff that happens that I'm also like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I remember last year when she brought out Boiti.
Surprise!
Everybody nearly died. I was like, oh my gosh, from backstage, and everybody was mad at Boiti. It was just like,
you shut down.
Man, you know what? Actually, shout out to Boiti for lighting a fire under all their asses, because she has them shook.
They were caught shaking.
If there's somebody that just woke everybody up, it's Boiti.
Yeah, shout out to Boiti.
I'm just like, yo, man, like,
come on the show.
I'm here for it. No, for real. I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for it. I think it's dope.